This presentation reflects the views of Empire Life as of the date presented. The information in this presentation is for general information purposes only and is not to be construed as providing legal, tax, financial, or professional advice. The Empire Life Insurance Company assumes no responsibility for any reliance made on or misuse or omissions of the information contained in this presentation, so please seek professional advice before making any decisions. Short-term focus, long-term view. Oftentimes, common sense isn't all that common. That certainly appears to be the case when looking at investor behavior and long-term savings. The media, financial institutions, and advisors have turned their focus on Registered Retirement Savings Plan season, or RRSP season, chasing near-term historical rates of return and getting that deduction for income tax purposes. Hurry, hurry, hurry. That's the short-term focus. But where's the long-term view? Where's the plan? Where's the commitment to make that plan happen? Welcome to this edition of Tax, Retirement, Investment and Insurance Planning Strategy and Solutions, or TRIIPSS. I'm Peter Wouters. When looking at putting money away for the long term, join me on this trip that takes a look at some research, transferable ideas, and examples that show the importance of the right kind of focus and attention when it comes to saving and investing money at the beginning of the year. Attendees will walk away with easy-to-understand ideas and case studies that clients can easily identify with and which will help them in their choices, habits, and focus. You will notice that while today's message may have application to most of your clients, a number of the case studies focus on millennials. Here's why. When you sincerely and consistently make an effort with the children of your Boomer and Gen X clients, you're appealing to these older clients' expectations of service, which incorporates more holistic family planning. I blogged and spoken about this over the course of 2019. According to recent Vanguard Canada research, build your book with your clients' children and invest in the next generation so that they'll invest with you. High net worth clients leave their advisors for failing to proactively contact them and to provide advice or ideas. Talking to clients about their children and connecting with those millennial children about their needs and aspirations addresses both issues. What's more, when you're focusing on clients' children, it should help you as advisors manage and participate positively on the expected $1.1 trillion intergenerational wealth transfer while reducing your risk of attrition. Millennial beneficiaries could easily move on to other advisors and service providers, taking their inherited assets with them, away from advisors who ignored them and who didn't appeal to their expectations of value and service while advisors were serving their aging parents. Saving money. It's about balance. November was Financial Literacy Month. One message that we all heard was about the importance of investing some time and effort into understanding money, investing, and financial planning. Saving money now for the long term was a common thread. Then we hit December. We set all of this aside and plunged into the biggest spending spree of the year. That was followed by a barrage of advertising in January and in February on putting some money into a registered retirement savings plan and or a tax-free savings account. That's quite the seesaw ride. If you really listened and followed the tips we were told in November about personal finance, perhaps we wouldn't go so far into debt during the holiday season. Then we might have some money for one or more of those tax-sheltered savings plans in the new year. And we would treat those savings plans as longer-term savings plans, not as shorter-term deferred spending accounts. One big stumbling block for many people is the idea of putting money away for 20, 30, or 40 years. That new gadget, spending hundreds of dollars per person for holiday gifts, or going out for dinner and drinks every week feels a lot more gratifying than set aside money for yourself decades down the road. Financial planning is boring. Doing it seems painful, and investing, well, that seems so confusing, complicated, and risky. The fact of the matter is that when we live in the moment and forego delayed gratification, we're compromising our future selves. Look at all the aging boomers fretting about their looming retirement, not having enough savings, and running out of money in the years to come. Here's what I say to clients. Saving money is about balance. Balancing today's needs with those of tomorrow. Balancing the kind of lifestyle we want today with the kind of lifestyle we want years down the road. balancing how much risk we want to take financially and how much of that we want to transfer to insurance and investment companies, and balancing where we invest, how we invest, and when we invest. Here's something to think about. We all took courses in school about subjects that we thought or knew we would never use in the real world. Learning about personal finance wasn't even on the list of subjects for most of us. Perhaps it should have been. It certainly is something that we could use and benefit from on a regular basis throughout our lives. There is a difference between saving and investing. Here, too, it's about balance. Saving is money you want to set aside for use in the next few years. Investing takes a longer view. It's for longer-term accumulation and building of wealth, a 10-year horizon at minimum, and most likely longer term. Where can you get information? You could look stuff up on the internet. You could buy some books at Chapters or Indigo. You could speak with your family and friends. You should do all of these things. Remember, though, that learning about personal finance and committing to putting the things you learn into regular practice doesn't work as well if you do it all on your own. This is especially true given our busy, complicated, and sometimes overwhelming lives. Do some research on accredited financial advisors. Interview a few of them. Pick one that you can work with as a member of your team. An extra hand and sounding board from a specialist in personal finance, financial planning, and investments can make your job a lot easier and give you some balance in your personal financial decisions and actions. Accumulating money, the 3 things you need. We hear so much from the media that we're not saving enough for retirement. This message is beaten into the minds of middle and upper middle income Canadians. Saving for retirement is tough, considering all the demands you now have. Investment choices are mind-boggling, and rates of return rule the roost. Let's spend some time on saving money. There are 3 things we need to accumulate money: dollars, time, and rate of return. Pick up the newspaper or journal, turn on the radio or watch television, and most of what you hear focuses on one factor. Which one? Rate of return. Why continually focus on the one factor over which we have the least control? Focus on the first 2 things that you need: dollars and time. Regular deposits over a healthy time period can work wonders for savings. Even modest amounts of money put away on a regular basis could grow to nice-sized savings down the road. The earlier you start, the longer money can work for you. And that means your money doesn't have to work as hard. You don't have to take as much risk. That makes saving and investing more comfortable for you. That can give you the peace of mind you're looking for as you build your financial future. This seems to be a hard lesson to learn, even today, for investors and advisors alike. Analysts have noticed that advisors and investors have been chasing yield for a number of years now. In a world where market volatility and unpredictability are the new norms, this market environment can lead to assets being mispriced due to momentum instead of valuation fundamentals during price and value determinations. A bottom-up approach that focuses on factors for individual companies first, then industries and trends, helps identify mispricing. This in turn helps analysts make better risk-adjusted decisions. That said, there's much more to consider than investment risk, as we'll talk about later. Pay yourself first. I wrote an earlier piece about paying the most important person in your life first. Here are some thoughts about that and the power of saving early, steadily, and for the long term. Let's say you earn $50,000 a year from age 30 to age 65. Let's assume you get annual increases averaging 2%, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on salary increases, job switches, and promotions. You will have earned almost $2.5 million over that working lifespan. Even if you don't increase your deposits from the initial amount, what would be the impact of investing savings in a tax-deferred plan monthly over an extended period of time? Well, let's take a look. Invest monthly at the beginning of the month. Invest in a tax-deferred account, specifically a registered retirement savings plan or a tax-free savings account. Put away 5% on an annual basis and assume that you're getting a 5% annual rate of return compounded monthly. And we can look at putting away $208 a month versus $250 a month. That difference, $1.40 a day. If you pay yourself 5%, which is $208 a month times 12, about $2,500. Between age 30 and 35 and 65 or 35 years, you will have accumulated over $237,000. If you paid yourself an extra $1.40 a day, the difference would have been $285,000, a difference, an extra amount of $47,500. That's quite a significant amount for an extra $1.40 a day. So let's say instead of that, you deposited all the money at the beginning of the year instead of spreading it out over the course of the year. And that's the question I've just been asked. What if you set aside all of it at the beginning of the year? Well, if you set aside 5% of your earnings at the beginning of the year, that's $2,500 in year one. Again, do this at the beginning of the year, not as a catch-up for last year in the first 2 months of this year. Make this a habit every year. Put the money into a tax-free savings account, a registered retirement savings plan, or split the deposits between the two. The savings grow tax-free. If you earn an average rate of 5% on your savings, you'll have accumulated over $375,000 by the time you reach age 65. That's an extra $137,000 compared to saving monthly, which is what you saw on the chart on the screen right now. Now you look at using that money to generate cash flow. If you continue to earn an average of 5% on those savings, you might receive $22,600 a year in extra income. Now, check out this chart for what could happen when you save various percentages of your money each year. You set aside 5%, which is the second row. You would have a lifetime projected earnings, as I said, about $2.5 million. Your value of your savings, nest egg, about $307,000. Your possible annual income, $15,000. Just put away 4% is $12,000. Put away 6%, which in my example is an extra $1.40 a day, and you'd get $18,000 in income, an extra $3,000 a year. If you're able to pay yourself 7.5% a year, that's $3,750 a year. That could generate you about $23,000 a year. And if you put away 10% of your income, which is a fairly big number, I recognize for a lot of people, you could have possible annual income of upwards of almost $31,000. The assumptions in all these cases is that you're annually earning about $50,000 a year, indexed at 2% per year. You're earning about 5% of a rate of return, no matter how much you're putting money in. And the key to making this work is to develop a habit early in life. Stick with it, and you really won't notice your lifestyle changing much while you're working. But oh, what a difference it makes when you need lump sums of cash or extra income down the road. You're important to a lot of people, especially yourself. Take care of the tomorrow you by starting today. Start your long-term savings plan early in life. Now, I keep saying that. Let me go through another example. Habits started early can really pay off over the long term, even if you stop them down the road. Let's take a look at twin sisters Shannon and Bridget, age 25. Shannon gets into the habit of paying herself first, before the landlord, the car dealership, the fashion stores around town, or the pizza guy. She sets aside $2,500 a year into a tax-free savings account or a registered retirement savings plan. I'm not texting, so why am I using TFSA or RRSP or any other jargon and alphabet when you're talking to people? I don't, and you shouldn't either. What's the hurry? But back to the case study. Shannon invests her money for 10 years, earning an average 6% rate of return each year. Then she stops and lets her money grow. Her twin sister Bridget starts an identical savings plan at age 35 when her sister stops putting money aside. Let's see what could happen down the road. So Shannon puts in $2,500 a year for 10 years at 6%. Total amount invested, $25,000. The nest egg value at age 65, almost $213,000. Bridget starts 10 years later, but she puts money in until age 65. The same $2,500 a year. She'll have put in $77,500, and at 65, ends up with just shy of $225,000. Bridget contributes more than 3 times the amount that her sister set aside, but she only has $12,000 more money at age 65. In fact, it will take her until age 61 to even have more money than Shannon. Now, this is just an example. You have to ask yourself, why would Shannon kick her savings habit after 10 years? Sticking with it would have made a massive difference. It's a question here about, is there any more information I can get on this or that I can use? Well, check out my blogs entitled 1, Pay the most important person in your life first, and 2, Pay yourself first. That's the power of starting your savings plan early in life and sticking with it. That is the potential for sticking with your plan. And that's the magic of compound interest, money working for you all that time. I just shared a story of twin sisters entitled Start Your Long-Term Savings Plan Early in Life. It compared the power of starting a savings plan now versus waiting 10 years. Let's look at savings and goals from a different perspective. 4 friends are talking about long-term dreams. Topic of the bucket list comes up. They wonder what it would take to save an extra $100,000 to spend on retirement, toys, treats, and experiences. You know, by reading my other posts and joining the seminar, the earlier these people get started, the easier it will be to reach that goal. What is the cost of delay? Well, let's assume that each person puts this money away each month. Friend number 1 can comfortably set aside $103 per month starting now. The other friends may have other commitments to meet now or figure they can catch up down the road by putting in some extra money. After all, they'll be making more money down the road. They could put some of those extra earnings into a savings plan, and each subsequent investor waits 5 years after the preceding one. The average rate of return is 6% in all cases. The savings will be used 30 years from now, and everyone wants to hit that $100,000 goal. Let's look at what happens if each person starts in 5-year increments. Friend number 2 needs to put away an extra 43%. Friend number 3 needs to put away more than twice as much as friend number 1. Friend number 4 needs to put away almost 3.4 times as much as the friend who started now. Will their salary raises cover the extra amount of monthly savings needed? Will each of the other friends simply find other things to spend money on down the road, or simply start with the same amount as friend number 1? Dreams are great. You need to develop some habits early in life to have some of them come true. The rising cost of reaching a financial goal can become a real stumbling block to reaching that same goal. Same dream, different price tag. Do you think that retirement for you and future generations will be significantly different than it is for current retirees? If you say yes, you're not alone. Most consumers anticipate meaningful differences. Thoughts, expectations, confidence, and planning do differ when considering age and gender. Here are some recent findings shared with permission from the Life Insurance Marketing Research Association and HSBC, entitled respectively, If the Shoe Fits, Generational Names and Retirement Attitudes, and The Future of Retirement Generations and Journeys. Surveyed consumers do say expectational differences relating to retirement are not all bad. In fact, younger generations have the potential to improve their retirement experiences. There's a greater awareness of the importance of planning and starting earlier in life. Younger generations have more time to plan. They have access to a growing arsenal of improved planning tools, bolstered by quickly evolving technology. That technology may also serve to improve their quality of life in retirement, or whatever they choose to call that next phase in their lives. The best results generally come from working with accredited professionals, particularly those that must follow an enforced code of ethics and increase compliance with evolving rules of conduct. These table stakes have been around for years, despite what you may hear or read about in the news. Engage with one who can provide you with holistic planning aimed at meeting your needs today, tomorrow, and throughout the years to come. 83% of retirees believe the retirement experiences of their generation will look significantly different from those of future generations, and 70% of non-retirees agree. Most believe these changes will be negative. Generation X women, those aged 36 to 51, are especially pessimistic about the retirement expectations. 39% of all Generation X people, those people ages 36 to 51, have high expectations of retirement, only 39%. And of those, 8% of women have high retirement life expectations. And 6%, a measly 6% of women, are strongly confident in achieving their retirement lifestyle if they're sitting between the ages of 36 and 51. With such a large percentage of these women having low confidence levels about achieving their retirement lifestyles, surely there must be an opportunity to improve their attitudes, behaviors, and prospects. What's one takeaway? Generation X women in particular could benefit from retirement planning activities that do two things. One, boost their confidence with financial decision making, and two, encourage prioritizing the habit of saving for retirement. So, what are some more takeaways? Women would benefit from investing time in discussions and activities that encourage them to make saving for retirement a priority. They could also benefit from getting involved in retirement planning exercises that boost their confidence when making financial decisions. The good news is that women are more likely to stick to a plan and focus on the end goal once they get started. Among Gen Xers and the youngest boomers, retirement is on the horizon, no matter how distant they may still seem. They can see the horizon. Working longer may push out the timeline. Saving for retirement is a top financial priority for 6 in 10 consumers, but there are gender differences. 2/3 of men agree that making retirement savings is a priority, whereas only 51% of women agree. When it comes to boomer confidence about retirement prospects, again, they're not all the same. The generation known as the baby boomers, or simply referred to as boomers, covers a broad period of time, almost 20 years. It's a small wonder that all boomers are not alike. Some of the oldest boomers have boomer children. How can parents and children share all the same traits and values? Well, they don't when it comes to their confidence levels in being able to live their desired retirement lifestyle. Remember, the leading edge of the boomers is turning 74 this year, and the ranks of the age 65 and over are rapidly swelling, with hundreds of thousands of people turning 65 each and every year. Of those boomers aged 52 to 60, 45% are confident about their retirement prospects. And from ages 61 to 71, that jumps to 61%. But that does mean that 4 out of 10 boomers, even at the older age groups, are not confident about their retirement concepts. The question comes up is, what could be weighing down confidence levels among the pre-retired and the retired? Certainly, there is the anticipation of less generous employer benefits, as well as potential cuts in eligibility to government retirement benefits. Add to that the expectation that working age consumers will work longer, have reduced access to company-sponsored pension plans, and will need to become more self-sufficient when it comes to saving money for retirement. These people are well aware that they haven't saved enough and started later than they should have. The common worry is whether they can save enough to support the lifestyle they want for as long as they live. Now, the opinion of retirees and older workers alike is that millennials may have a better chance to control their future when it comes to saving money for their future lifestyles. Let's take a closer look at that and consider the millennial perspective. The Future of Retirement, Generations and Journeys research that I alluded to earlier identified a number of approaches that people take when it comes to money in life, which in turn affect their behaviors and attitudes to retirement planning. The same research found that while 6 in 10 consumers rank saving for top priority, there are gender differences. So 6 in 10 consumers rank saving for retirement a priority, but men and women don't necessarily respond the same way. Not only do millennial men have the highest expectations of retirement, they are confident in achieving them. They tend to be the most engaged with prioritizing retirement savings. They also are the most engaged in monitoring and managing those retirement investments. Does that sound like you or the millennial clients you serve? And before I go into how you can help them, the question that comes up is, of course, how can you help them? Well, millennial men may need better tools to gauge their actual level of retirement preparedness and avoid overconfidence, which in turn can undermine retirement security. Research consistently points out that people of all ages benefit from seeking professional advice when planning and saving for retirement. Ensure that professional advice comes from accredited advisors who subscribe to a code of ethics that can help to raise the bar when it comes to client-advisor relationships and turning those relationships into a win-win scenario on a long-term basis. After all, saving for retirement is a long-term proposition. So let's look at millennials and saving money. Age 25 is the average age that millennials started to save for retirement in Canada. That said, 38% haven't started yet. 71% are concerned about running out of money during retirement. And 3 out of 4 view saving as necessary but difficult. Now balance this off against research from Stats Canada, the Household Balance Sheet 2016, and the Canada Revenue Agency Tax-Free Savings Account 2017 statistics, the most recent information we have on millennials. It shows that millennials are on average increasing their tax-free savings account deposits at 2 to 3 times the rate of their registered retirement savings plan contributions. The same group accounts for half of all withdrawals from this plan, indicating that a significant amount of deposits is being used for short-term needs and wants. Now, those withdrawal figures drop as they do for registered retirement savings plan as plan holders get older, indicating a longer-term view of saving and investing as those people get older. So there's a tip for you as we enter the season, which we still call RRSP season. Maybe we should call this RRSP and TFSA season, or Registered Retirement Savings Plan and Tax-Free Savings Account season, in light of what the millennials are doing with their money and how they're choosing where they're putting it. One approach, of course, was labeled assured optimists. They represent about 16% of people surveyed and tend to be optimistic about the future. They're more likely to have the luxury of being able to take risks while having fun and enjoying life. In fact, when it comes time to rating fun and enjoyment as important, people aged 25 to 29, 42% of it rank that pretty highly. And at age 70, it drops to 31%. I'm not sure if that's good news or bad news. Well, here's something to think about. Millennial men may fit well into this category. They're young, energetic, and have time to accumulate money and recover from markets that have had their inevitable downturns. They may enjoy spending money on vacations, toys, and going out of the town. A natural focus is having a successful career. So the question or the comment I've got here is, well, then I guess that we can't do much for them, or where's the opportunity? On the flip side, these millennials are more likely to stop or face difficulties in saving and then regret not seeking financial advice. Their battle, like so many working people, is satisfying the need for cash and gratification now while recognizing the need for cash to support lifestyles down the road. Current income and cash flow may matter much more than the level of current investable assets. And that in turn, that current income and cash flow turns and takes the focus away from the importance of future income supported by continual deposits into a retirement savings plan or a long-term registered plan like a tax-free savings account. So millennial men in particular may at times be pulled in opposite directions. Almost 6 out of 10 millennials have high expectations of retirement compared to only 39% of Generation X and only 43% of boomers. But they've got time on their side. 71% of millennial men say saving for retirement is a top priority. And 6 out of 10 millennial men are very involved in monitoring or managing their retirement. So not only do millennial men have the highest expectations of retirement, they are confident in achieving them. They are also the most engaged in monitoring and managing those retirement investments, as I've already noted. So does that sound like you or the millennial clients that you serve? But millennial men, again, may need better tools to gauge their actual level of retirement preparedness and avoid overconfidence, which in turn can undermine their retirement security. What research has consistently pointed out is that people of all ages benefit from seeking professional advice when planning and saving for retirement. Ensure that professional advice comes from accredited advisors who subscribe again to a code of ethics that can help to raise the bar when it comes to client-advisor relationships and turning those relationships, again, as I said earlier, into win-win scenarios on a long-term basis. Because as I've said, and as I continue to say, saving for retirement is a long-term proposition. So how can you connect and engage millennials, in fact, people of various cohorts, when they, along with you as advisors, lead such busy lives? Add to that the challenges that travel may bring, whether it's the time it takes, the distance traveled, or inclement weather, especially in January or February. Consider the non-face-to-face sales process as a backstop. an alternative that can be both efficient and effective. Our fast and full sales process is a non-face-to-face process that uses the internet and phone, where distance and scheduling no longer have to be restrictions. It can reduce traveling costs and time, and it provides a very efficient sales process, a much more cost-effective process, especially for smaller insurance and investment policies. And screen sharing software is available via Join Me tools that are available. Let's take a typical look at a typical day, close to the end of RRSP season, which is what we're still calling it, which for millennials, again, as I said before, could better be called TFSA or tax-free savings account season. You and your clients are in a scramble getting those deposits, whether they're into a registered retirement savings plan or a tax-free savings account, and getting them in before any deadlines that might crop up. Now, let's say for the sake of argument, you're willing to put in a 9-hour day and that you are spending about an hour meeting with each client, which includes making some small talk, discussing needs, completing the application, collecting the check, and packaging everything up and saying your goodbyes. And let's say on average, you spend about 30 minutes travel time to and from each client. That means in a 9-hour day, you're able to see about 6 clients. And assuming the new account is set up with an average of $10,000, that's about $60,000 in new assets under administration. And assuming a low deposit commission structure, that would amount to $1,500 in commissions earned. Now let's see how much more efficient you could be with fast and full investment applications using the non-face-to-face option. Let's assume that because of the efficiencies of the digital sales process, you can cut that client meeting down to about 30 minutes. And because it's non-face-to-face, you've eliminated travel time. And let's say because you aren't spending all day driving around town, you only need to work 8 hours instead of 9. With our fast and full investment electronic application, you can see 16 clients instead of 6 and increase your assets under administration by $100,000 over doing the face-to-face meetings. And because of this greater activity and greater intensity and greater efficiency, you've got much greater assets under administration. You're going to make 2.5 times the commissions, $4,000 compared to $1,500. Now, for some of you, this business comes from clients you may not have otherwise pursued. You may not have wanted to pursue because the deposit level is so low. So the question I have for you is this. Would you rather drive all over town for $1,500 or work from your office and make $4,000 and free up an extra hour of your day as well? The direction to survival and success relies to small degrees, perhaps to no small degree, on technology-enabled tools and processes. Consider Empower Life's fast and full insurance and investment applications. They're combined with e-signatures, e-payment, and instant approval, subject to, of course, to applicable eligibility requirements. They're available for face-to-face and non-face-to-face processes. There's e-contract delivery and same-day trade dates if all this is completed before 4 p.m. This is an award-winning, industry-leading enabler for advisors and clients transform the digital market for life insurance and investments. It's what clients expect from all service providers. We demonstrate our commitment to constantly innovating and improving by having had thousands of enhancements since launch, a website and live supported training, our fastandfull.ca website, and website access to policy information by you and your clients, including our solution series of life insurance products. Leverage technology to satisfy clients' wants for efficient access and service on their terms and within their timelines. This is about freeing up your time for things that really add value to your relationship with clients, the kind of value that they expect. Question that comes up just now is, what about marketing opportunities for seniors? That's a nice segue into my next topic. Let's consider a missed market. Registered retirement savings plan contributions for working seniors. And here's a case study to think about. Stan is turning 71 this year. He's enjoying a life filled with travel, relaxation, and time with his wife Nellie and their family. And like more and more people, work is still very much a part of his life. Stan expects to work at least part-time for the foreseeable future. To Stan, this keeps his mind active and helps define who he is. He would like the opportunity to claim regular retirement savings plan deductions after age 71, even though he knows he must mature his own plan by the end of the year he turns age 71. What are his options? One thing that Stan can do is contribute to a spousal regular retirement savings plan until his spouse Nellie reaches age 71. His contributions are limited to 18% of his previous year's earned income. Those deposits to Nellie's plan do not affect Nellie's ability to contribute to her own plan, provided she has earned income or unused contribution room. Stan gets to take advantage of tax-deductible contributions. Nellie benefits from asset splitting now, since she gains from the tax sheltering in her regular retirement savings plan. Both Stan and Nellie benefit from income splitting later, since Nellie declares the income from the plan when it matures, either in the form of an annuity or a regular retirement income fund, or a combination thereof. Stan could consider an overcontribution to his own regular retirement savings plan. He has always maximized his regular retirement savings plan contributions. He could consider an overcontribution to his own plan the year he turns age 71. He can make excess contributions to his own regular retirement savings plan before he matures his plan by the end of the year in which he turns age 71. Stan has earned income this year of $80,000. That means he will have $80,000 times 18%, or $14,400 of contribution room next year. Stan can contribute next year's contribution room in December of this year, just prior to maturing his regular retirement savings plan. Now, this strategy will result in a penalty for the month of December to the extent that his excess contributions is over $2,000. Taxpayers are allowed a $2,000 overcontribution without penalty. The penalty is 1% per month. Specifically, Stan will be charged an overcontribution penalty of $14,400 minus the $2,000, which is the overcontribution grace period, times 1%, or $124 for executing this strategy. So taxpayers are allowed a $2,000 overcontribution without penalty. Stan's overcontribution scenario vanishes on January 1st of next year because he will be entitled to $14,400 of contribution room based on his prior year's earned income. The deduction more than offsets the comparatively small penalty. The regular retirement savings plan deposit can either boost his annuity income or his regular retirement income fund balance, with most of that extra money enjoying some ongoing tax sheltering. Question that just comes up is, what else does Stan need to do to effect this strategy? He will have to file Form T1 OVP, which will report his overcontribution to the Canada Revenue Agency, and he needs to file the form and pay the penalty of $124 in this example 90 days before the end of the current year. Now, here's a study that was completed by the Deloitte Center for Financial Services on retirement. The question was, I feel very secure about retirement and I have a formal retirement savings plan income plan. Well, 65% people agree. But if they don't have a retirement savings plan, only 25% agree. I feel very secure about retirement and I work with an advisor. 6 out of 10 respondents agree with that statement, whereas only 1 out of 3 who don't work with an advisor, who don't feel secure about retirement, who work with an advisor. And this study highlights the benefit of working with an advisor and having a formal written retirement plan. Again, some pretty compelling statistics. Now, I'm not saying these are the number of people that have a plan. This is how secure they feel if, in fact, they have a plan and either do or don't have a formal retirement savings and income plan, or do or don't work with an advisor. Again, if you look even at that bottom stat, 6 out of 10 people who work with an advisor will answer positively, I feel very secure about retirement. But only 1 out of 3, about half as many people who don't work with an advisor, agree with that statement. Once again, though, there are stark gender differences and an opportunity to add meaningful value to the advice and service financial advisors offer beyond product recommendations and chasing returns. The retirement reality check conducted by CIBC in 2018 found that 1/3 out of Canadians aged 45 to 64 haven't saved anything for retirement. 1/3 of Canadians between the ages of 45 and 64 haven't saved anything for retirement. The study here covers all adult men and women. You would hope that as people age, the odds of having a formal plan would increase. Now keep in mind gender differences. 43% of women ages 55 and over don't have a formal plan. And as a group, they don't feel as financially literate as their male counterparts. Statistically, they outlive men, and more are either a joint or primary decision maker on investment matters. The need is there. This is another call to action for financial advisors. Over half of aging Canadians don't really know if they are saving enough. Well, we can certainly help out here as well. So talk to us if you need help in getting this point home and having those conversations. Retiring early. Is it just a dream? Will your clients be able to retire when they want or earlier than planned? Many clients dream of early retirement. Better put, many clients hope to be financially independent so that work becomes a want to do, not a have to do, and choices and freedom become available. Is it possible to make that dream a reality? With the Empire Life Retirement and Savings Tool, clients can find out how close they are to their dream. By simply answering a few questions, the tool calculates how their savings will accumulate to retirement age and what changes they can make to get there sooner. It also creates a personalized report that clients can share with you to get the conversation started. Help your clients get on track for an early retirement. Check out the tool and share it with them today. It's one more way of leveraging technology to optimize conversations and provide that highly valued human touch. I've shared statistics focused on millennials and where they're putting their money. More of them are putting more money into a tax-free savings account. So why do we still call January and February RRSP season? One of the questions that people struggle with is this: where do I put my long-term savings and investments? We are bombarded by the need to put money away for retirement and into a registered retirement savings plan, particularly during RRSP season, those first 60 days of the calendar year. That's when many Canadians gather some money to deposit into a registered retirement savings plan in order to get a tax break for the previous calendar year when they file their income taxes a little down the road. But is a registered retirement savings plan a better place to put your money than a tax-free savings account? Let's consider some important tax factors. You need earned income to contribute to a registered retirement savings plan, but not to a tax-free savings account. The earnings on deposits on either plan grow tax-free while remaining in the plan. The income tax treatment of money coming out of the plan is a major consideration when deciding where to put the money at the outset. If you think you'll be in a lower tax bracket when you take money out of one of these plans, then having that money growing in a registered retirement savings plan may be the better option. The tax deduction you get for your deposits is bigger than the tax you'll pay on your withdrawals. Remember that all of your deposits and the growth in your plan are taxable as ordinary income. All withdrawals are added to your net income, which in turn determines your eligibility for most government benefits. The income tax treatment of money coming out of a registered retirement savings plan compared to a tax-free savings account is a major consideration when deciding again where to contribute that money at the outset. Now, with the tax-free savings account, you don't get a deduction for your deposits, but all of your withdrawals are tax-free. None of your withdrawals are added to your net income calculations. They have no bearing on your eligibility for most of those same government benefits. If you don't expect your tax bracket to change when you take money out of either one of these plans, then there may not be a material tax advantage of one plan over the other. Keep in mind that withdrawals or an income flow coming from a registered retirement savings plan will add to your net income. And there's no impact to net income or tax brackets when you withdraw or take an income from a tax-free savings account. And the question that comes up now is, well, those are the tax factors. What about non-tax factors? Well, there are more considerations than just tax when deciding where to put your limited savings. Ideally, all eligible Canadians should take advantage of both registered savings plans, a registered retirement savings plan, and a tax-free savings account. These are both registered savings plans. Not everyone is able to maximize their annual contributions into both plans. Figures from the Canada Revenue Agency's tax-free savings account statistics for the 2017 tax year, the most recent year that we have for statistics, found that about 1 out of 3 households who had a tax-free savings account also had a registered retirement savings plan. If a choice has to be made, what else should you think about besides taxes? In my session, The 13 Biggest Investment Mistakes Retirees Make, I discussed the fact that millions of Canadians are not maximizing their registered savings plans, specifically tax-free savings accounts. Recall these tax-free savings account statistics. If we focus on people age 65 and over, the total number of plan holders drops to only 1 million people, of which only 633,000 made a contribution. So little over 6 out of 10 Canadians age 65 and plus who even have a tax-free savings account actually made a contribution. And only 186,000 or 18% maximized their contribution. So there's a lot of room to grow their assets and yours under administration. Now, there are lots of factors to consider when deliberating about these two plans. The minimum age for starting point in time, the maturity age, whether or not you need earned income, whether or not contributions are tax deductible, penalties for over contributions, spousal contributions, what happens to contribution room if you make withdrawals, investment choices, taxes, the ability to name beneficiaries outside of Quebec, and the ability to use these plans as collateral. Let's focus on that last point. The purpose of the plan. The primary purpose of a registered retirement savings plan is a long-term savings plan focused on financial independence later in life. The plan may also be used to fund the down payment of a home under the home buyer's plan and or to fund post-secondary education under the lifelong learning plan. Now, with the lifelong learning plan, there are rules dealing with what qualifies as an educational program and a designated educational institution. You may deduct contributions to your RRSP made in the same year as the withdrawal, provided the contributions are made at least 90 days before the withdrawal from your registered retirement savings plan. You may withdraw up to $10,000 per year, up to an overall cap of $20,000 over a 4-year time period. The spousal attribution rules don't apply on withdrawals. And there are rules dealing with repayment to your registered retirement savings plan when you make a withdrawal for lifelong learning. Then there's a home buyer's plan. This plan allows first-time home buyers to withdraw funds from their registered retirement savings plan to buy a qualified home. Again, there are rules defining what qualifies as a home and who qualifies as a first-time home buyer. You and your spouse or common law partner can each borrow up to $35,000 from your respective registered retirement savings plans. Here too, the spousal attribution rules don't apply on withdrawals. Again, there are rules dealing with repayments to your registered retirement savings plan. And here too, you may deduct contributions to your registered retirement savings plan made in the same year as the withdrawal, provided the contribution was made at least 90 days before the withdrawal. A tax-free savings account has none of the rules and restrictions if it is used for lifelong learning or buying a home, whether you are a first-time home buyer or not. This registered plan can be used for just about anything. That makes it a better choice for people who may be simply setting up a deferred spending account. Too many people use their registered retirement savings plans in this fashion, defeating the primary purpose of the plan, and perhaps even increasing their taxable income in years when they make withdrawals during their working lifetime for purposes other than lifelong learning or home buyers. A tax-free savings account may be an alternative to a registered retirement savings plan, not just for tax purposes, but also because of the difference noted in the comparison chart and other spending events. Ideally, you should have both types of plans, optimizing the advantages that each one offers. Be sure to sit down with a financial advisor and develop a savings and investment plan that meets your short, medium, and long-term objectives, incorporating as many of the features and considerations as I have pointed out. Set up and commit to a regular savings program and investment strategy that supports your goals and gives you the lifestyle you value now and into your long term. Active or passive? Exchange traded funds, EFTs, individual funds, portfolio offerings, foreign, domestic, value. Why choose? Empire offers a broad array of investment options and styles to suit the varied needs and expectations of advisors and the clients we both serve. Our award-winning and industry-leading automated application process takes a short-term focus on improving your efficiency and the client experience. Our long-term view is exemplified by the approach we take to managing money. Speak with our account executives about how we can help you grow your business and best serve your clients as they move through life stages. That's your short-term focus. Take some time for conversations with us. Let's see what we can do to help build client wealth over the long term and your business over the long term as well. We believe we can help you with your long term view. We're certainly committed to doing business simple, fast, and easy. Hopefully, you've benefited from this trip that takes a look at some research, transferable ideas, and examples which show the importance of the right kind of focus and attention when it comes to saving and investing money at the beginning of the year. I trust you will walk away with easy to understand ideas and case studies that clients can easily identify with and which will help them in their choices, habits, and focus.